Tonight, a special edition of How They Do That. On the road from Las Vegas, America's fantasy playground. When other cities were dying all over the country, Las Vegas became a boomtown.
Las Vegas isn't got anything to do with subtlety or great taste. This town is blatantly, it's like a girl or a flasher that goes...
We'll show you how Vegas gambled and won by changing its image. Your hosts, Pat O'Brien and Dorothy Lucy.
You are looking at the neon lights of Glitter Gulch at the top of the strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. In Espanol, Las Vegas means the meadows, but to the millions who visit here every year, this city is the end of the rainbow, our chance at that elusive pot of gold. And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Welcome to How'd They Do That on the road in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dorothy Lucy. The year was 1941, and the first hotel was built on the Vegas Strip. The El Rancho Vegas had 144 rooms.
Now, today, we are surrounded by more than 250 hotels totaling more than 80,000 rooms. The newest hotels here are big. In fact, the pyramid-shaped Luxor Las Vegas is so big, they can stack 9 Boeing 747s inside its atrium lobby.
Not to mention the 100,000 square foot casino and indoor amusement park.
The new MGM Hotel is billed as the largest in the world, over 5,000 rooms. They have an outdoor amusement park, and their casino is the size of 4, count them, 4 football fields.
And the folks at Hilton have a sign out front that they say is the largest in the world, over 36 stories high.
In a town where everybody is trying to outdo the other person, here's how they're making Las Vegas bigger than life. Las Vegas loves to put on a show, so at one big bang, it was out with the old to make way for the new, as the 38-year-old Dunes Hotel exploded into pieces. The major players are betting billions they can attract record numbers of tourists who will spend big bucks. How? By thinking big and building even bigger.
20 years ago, what would have drawn a wow would get you a yawn today. In the movies, in any form of restaurant or entertainment or hotel. Las Vegas is no different. We had to get with it. Get with it. If you don't get with it, you're out of business.
We knew that 85% of the people in the country have never been to Las Vegas. And a lot of those were the baby boomers that had kids that wanted to travel with their kids and just couldn't bring themselves to come to Las Vegas.
Our thrust is still the same. It is entertainment. It's gaming. It's larger-than-life extravaganzas. It's everything that everybody can't get where they currently live.
And business is booming. In the last decade, tourism doubled to a record 22 million visitors in 1993. In fact, it is the biggest boom since the 50s, and families are the key to it. The increase has affected the entire city. Since 1985, the population has nearly quadrupled and is now close to 1 million people. The airport is the 15th busiest in the country, and the county is building 12 schools a year just to keep up. At a time when the rest of the country was gripped by recession, Las Vegas turned into a boomtown. How did they do that?
Each time a new mega resort comes online, the community is affected very positively. We have hundreds, if not thousands, or multiples of thousands of jobs created. There's multi-millions of dollars created in direct and indirect economic benefits.
The economy has been very, very good for a long time, but it's consumer-driven. Las Vegas is consumer-driven, always has been, and the entrepreneurs in the city are smart enough to respond to demand of the people.
Las Vegas has been shamelessly commercial from day one. It hasn't got anything to do with subtlety or great taste. This town is blatantly, it's like a girl or a flasher that goes... This town is what it is.
That bawdiness was born in the 1930s. As an Old West outpost, town leaders bet that legalized wagering would raise revenues and attract visitors. Then, in the 1940s, Bugsy Siegel risked millions to build the first luxury casino far from the downtown clubs. In a few short years, others followed Siegel's lead, and the world-famous Strip grew rapidly. It was glamorous, slightly sinful, and very popular throughout the 50s and into the 60s, but only with adults.
Back then, there was absolutely nothing to do for the children. Then Circus sort of broke through that era, and now there are things to do.
Sin City slowly began to change its image. How? 2 hotels rewrote the rules. Caesar's Palace, and Circus Circus. They offered larger-than-life fantasies. Circus Circus boasted an enormous casino that was an actual working Big Top, and people could rent cheap rooms and eat $2 steaks.
This place turned the corner for the industry. It was the first time they were ever targeting diversified groups, some of which didn't gamble. That's the key here.
Then in 1978, Las Vegas got a wake-up call. Casino gambling arrived in Atlantic City. Suddenly, the Nevada desert had competition. Today, 14 states allow gambling and 37 states have lotteries. How could Las Vegas compete?
Las Vegas, in spite of all the numbers showing that it was growing, was really in decline. And it was in decline because it wasn't being renewed and replaced.
My take on Las Vegas was that if anybody brought all the other wonderful non-casino elements to Las Vegas and put it all together, where architecture and mood and ambiance were all blended into an experiential kind of moment, that whoever built that kind of a hotel would dominate the market.
When the Mirage opened up in 1989, I mean, that was the biggest and the best. It created almost a new era in gambling. You know, set a new criteria. I mean, the volcano lot in front just moved everything to a bigger dimension.
The Mirage was a hit, and so was the Excalibur when it opened in June of 1990. For a short time, the Excalibur was the world's biggest resort casino, with more than 4,000 rooms. The Las Vegas tradition of larger-than-life had again reached new heights. And today, the city has more tourist facilities than anywhere else in the world.
In fact, in just the final weeks of 1993, the Strip unveiled 3 new giant resorts. First, the $475 million pirate-themed Treasure Island, where every 90 minutes, an elaborate sea battle that cost $32 million to build is staged in front of the hotel. The 15-minute show is free to anybody passing by, but the goal is to get people inside.
It has to appeal to you on a number of different levels that makes you want to linger. And so the design of these places has to be very three-dimensional. It has to be an emotional journey. It can't just be zap, zap, zap. Space Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, boom, no.
Further down the Strip is the distinct $400 million Luxor Hotel. Its outside walls are covered in 11 solid acres of tinted glass that frame a 25-foot wide beam of light that is so bright you could read a newspaper 10 miles out in space.
Inside, 30 floors of guest rooms look out over the world's largest atrium. And in a Vegas first, guests don't have to walk through the casino to get to their rooms. The entire complex caters to the comfort of mom, dad, and the kids.
We're not directly competitive with Disney or Universal Studios. We're not theme parks. We're something else. I don't think the name has been thought of yet to describe what this is, but it's a new concept. It's the evolution and a new level of what we're doing all the time.
With a 7-story lion standing guard at the entrance, across the street is the MGM Grand. The billion-dollar resort is the newest reminder that this city has a penchant for size. But how important is it to be big?
We wanted to build something big enough and exciting enough that would broaden the market, that would make more people come, to make everybody say, you've got to see this place.
You have to be big. When you're the biggest and the best, and you have to remain that way. With gambling being legalized throughout the country, I mean, Las Vegas has to get better. It just has to be more enormous, and there just has to be more things to do.
Looking down on all the mega casinos will soon be a $250 million, 1,000-foot tower called the Stratosphere. The Stratosphere will be the 9th tallest observation tower in the world, only 200 feet shorter than the Empire State Building.
And of course, we Vegatized the tower. You know, there's a thrill ride on the top. People can fly around at 1,000 feet in the air. Probably be the most exciting thrill ride. And it has a laser light show on the top. So this will be the tower of all towers, the super tower.
But the resort owners are trying to sweeten the pot even more. How? With entertainment so elaborate that every show is an event unto itself. If the gambling doesn't grab you, they hope the mega entertainment will. The Las Vegas Hilton spent $12 million to completely renovate its 27,000 square foot main showroom.